9 Flames Sovereign Chapter 12, Early Peak Storage Rings, because of their preciousness, are rare in the entire Dajin country. Touched his heart, Han Feng showed a smile at the corner of his mouth. The 7th floor of the 9 Flame Skyfire Tower is a storage space, which can store anything, including living objects. Unfortunately, it requires a higher level. The first level at the beginning is no different from ordinary storage. According to the inherited memory, once the 7th level storage space is opened, there will be hundreds of cubic meters of space in the first level alone. When I refine the source solution, I can open the 7th storage space. Han Feng secretly said in his heart. Han Tiancheng pointed to dozens of low-grade spirit stones on the table. These are the spirit stones I have left. If you want, you can take them all. Han Feng hurriedly said, "No, a few will be enough, otherwise how would my father practice?" Han Tiancheng sighed and shook his head. The purity of these low-grade spirit stones is less than 10%. I am now a human level 4-star. At least I need low-grade medium-level spirit stones to improve steadily. I want to have a greater improvement, at least it's a low-grade and high-grade spirit stone. But for such spirit stones, let alone our Han family, there are not many of them in the entire city. As for the low-grade and medium-level spirit stones, although our Han family has them, how can I be a sinner who is entitled to enjoy it? Han Feng was silent. Han Tiancheng touched Han Feng's head and smiled and said, "Don't feel sorry for his father. Father himself doesn't want to use those spirit stones to cultivate, otherwise your 3 uncles would have sent me secretly." Hearing this, Han Feng let out a sigh of relief, and he was relieved, as long as he didn't specifically target his father. It is not clear to Han Feng that he took the initiative to take care of his father, otherwise he would have been resentful in the face of his 3 uncles and cousins such as Han Lin. No matter how weak his own father is, he is also his own father. Han Feng stepped forward and inspected these spirit stones. Soon, Han Feng frowned. Is in the early stage of the mortal order, it is impossible to refine and absorb the spiritual power in the spiritual stone, and naturally cannot sense the purity of the spiritual stone. The purity of the spirit stone is reflected in the difference in color, but it is only quite obvious that the difference between the 5 levels of inferior, medium, superior, superior and top can be clearly seen. The difference is not big, it is difficult to see. The spirit stones placed by Han Tiancheng are all low-grade and inferior spirit stones, and the difference is not big. Han Feng can't distinguish it only by color. Han Tiancheng saw Han Feng frown and couldn't help asking, "What's the problem?" Han Feng smiled bitterly. "Father, can you pick out some inferior spirit stones with purity levels of 1%, 2%, and 3%? Han Tiancheng said, "It must have such a low purity? You know, such a low-grade spirit stone has almost no spiritual power, even if it is 1,000 low-grade spirit stones with a purity of 1%. Refining, there will not be the slightest enhancement." Han Feng insisted, "As long as these 3 levels." Han Tiancheng had no choice but to pick out 8 of them. 1 of them is 1% purity, 5 is 2% purity, and 3 is 3% purity. Here you are. Han Feng took it with joy. "Father, I'm leaving now." In the Han Feng room, Han Feng jumped and came to the first floor of the 9 Flame Skyfire Tower. Everything melts the flames. Finally it's time to use you. Han Feng sat cross-legged, throwing a 100th pure inferior spirit stone into the cauldron. Han Feng muttered to himself at the moment, "Warrior cultivation, with spirit stones can save a lot of hard work, but even so, it will still waste a lot of spiritual power in the spirit stones." According to what I have observed in the Han family book pavilion over the years, the higher the exercise method, the greater the utilization rate of spiritual stones that can be absorbed. On the contrary, the lower the exercise method, the lower the utilization rate of spiritual stones absorbed. Human-level lower-grade exercises, corresponding to lower-grade spirit stones, can only effectively use about 50%, that is, half of the spiritual power in the spirit stones will be consumed. The middle-rank human-level exercises, corresponding to the lower-rank spiritual stones, can only effectively use 65%. The human-level high-grade exercises, corresponding to the low-grade spirit stones, can only effectively use 80%. The human-level best practice, corresponding to the lower-grade spirit stone, can only effectively use 95%. Among them, according to the refiner's own cultivation level, the effective utilization percentage also fluctuates. Take my father as an example. The cultivation level is 4-star, and he cultivates a high-grade exercise technique that is rare in the Han family. The effective use rate is only about 75%, which is less than %80. If your father's cultivation reaches 7 stars, he can reach 80, surpass 9 stars, and even reach 85. It was impossible to refine the energy in the spiritual stone based on my cultivation base and the cultivation technique, but with the melting pot of all things, all this is not a problem. Even the source liquid of the melting and smelting cauldron is absorbed by me, which is completely equivalent to 100% effective use, without any waste. Taking out a low-grade inferior spirit stone with a purity of 1%, Han Feng threw it into the All Things Wrong Yan Ding, and immediately Han Feng made a seal on his hands and screamed, "All Things Wrong Yan Ding, ooh reading www. From Ukanshu.com. Boom. The All Things Wrong Yan Ding made a trembling, and immediately floated in the air, all luminous, bursting out from the All Things Wrong Yan Ding. The first layer of the 9 flames different fire art the refining of common fires. Wow! A red flame the size of a fist appeared under the cauldron of all things melting flame, and a hot temperature suddenly rose. Han Feng gritted his teeth, not enough, refining for me. Along with the vigorous consumption of internal energy in the body, the red fireball suddenly doubled. All things melted in the flame cauldron, the low-grade and low-grade spirit stones also gradually changed, starting from a solid to a liquid. Time gradually passed, and soon it was the early hours of night. Han Feng wiped off the sweat stains on his forehead with a pale face, opened the top cover of the All Things Wrong Yan cauldron, his eyelids twitched. A low-grade inferior spirit stone with a purity of 1%, but it is the size of a fist, but now it is refined into a liquid that is the source liquid, only a small sip. Han Feng took out the cyan jade cup placed somewhere on the first floor and put the source liquid into it. This cyan jade cup is to prevent the energy of the source liquid from dissipating. In addition to the cyan jade cup, there are also cyan jade bowls and other jade with large storage capacity. The objects are all automatically generated by the 9-flame sky fire tower, which is inexhaustible. Picking up the jade cup, Han Feng whispered to himself, "I wonder how much such a small bite will improve me?" Swallowed, Han Feng's expression suddenly changed, and he immediately sat cross-legged. "The 3 shifts have been changed today, please support me."